Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime Symbol. First of all, if you would like to support me and the channel, my PayPal will be in the description. So, yeah, thank you guys very much. I'm back with a brand new movie. What if Naruto was the dark Captain America, guys? So, let us change the scenario big time. Introducing the super serum, guys. Within the Nruta universe. If you would like to see how that play out, sit back, relax, and yeah, enjoy. And if you have series and movies on your mind that you would like to see be done by me, just go ahead and comment your ideas on any of the latest posts. And also, I indeed have 3 more channels. I'll be linking them all in the description, so go ahead, check them out, and yeah, enjoy. So without further ado or wasting more time, let us begin this brand new movie. Now, guys. One decision was going to change everything, and that decision took place the night after the Nine Tails attack. As Hiruzen Sarutobi gazed down towards the only survivor of the family resting within his arms. Despite not hearing anything, Hiruzen knew the man was there as he turned his gaze. Standing at the door was Danzo Shimura. On that night, Hiruzen rejected Danzo's proposal, but 1 year later, he started to see Danzo's words turning into reality. And he had to make a very, very difficult choice for the future safety of the village. As Danzo put it, as powerful as they are, not a single one of them can outrun time itself. None of them. Hiruzen grew desperate. The power vacuum left behind forced him to consider more extreme measures. Realizing that Nruta in the public would also cause untrusting effects eventually if the populace was to become aware. So he made a very difficult decision that would ensure the future of Konoha remained powerful, that would ensure that their people are never forced out of their homes. And thus, he handed the young child over to Danzo Shimura, Danzo himself being a very persuasive man, as he came up with so many arguments that made his point seem rather splendid in every possible way. Thus the child was given to him to ensure that Konoha future remains strong, to ensure that the power that the boy has at his disposal will be rightfully used and it would not go to waste. After all, they needed the military force, they needed the strength. Danzo named the boy his secret project, Project Kusanagi, the blade, said to cut through gods. And Naruto will become that blade. At the moment, he was the only possible person that would survive the procedure. Due to the nine-tailed fox being inside of him, his body was much more durable and special because he was a Uzumaki. Former testing has failed. But if anything, Danzo would be able to undo the procedure before things get too drastic. But he was taking a big risk. Yes, a very big risk. A few years back, the Root Ninjas came across a rather surprising development. There was a specialized team that was partnering with the land of snow. They were trying to create shinobis that were above their time, using science, engineer, and everything to create the perfect shinobis. They dubbed it the Super Soldier Serum. Danzo and his people had stolen everything and eradicated all of those that had knowledge on the project. After all, that was Danzo's main department that the outside world knew nothing about. After years of tweaking it, Danzo believed that he found the best subject. And due to all of the testing run on the boy, with the seal and the 9 tails inside of it, Danzo believed that he was the only one that would truly be able to truly benefit from this. Thus, at the age of 4, Nruta was placed inside of a massive tube. Many things were connected to him, liquids running into his flesh. The terrifying screams escaped his lips as the process was painful, immensely so. Danzo and several others stood there. The Hokage knew nothing about this, despite what the Hokage has already done. The man was really invested to ensure that Danzo doesn't pull anything stupid or bad. His only goal was to ensure that the boy get the special training. Because his shinobis are less right now, his people are weak. Danzo was the only one that can actually train the boy to make him become the actual ninja that he can be from a young age. But Hiruzen was still invested. But Danzo was playing the good part, showing that this was for the benefit of Konoha, which it was, but in his own messed up way. It was a mixture of Hoshirama cells infusion, low dosage. After tinkering with the serum, Danzo and his people had added a few things to make the warrior even stronger. Danzo had his fail-safes though, to make sure that everything goes as planned. Chakra core stabilizers, which Danzo and his people were able to further modify from what they got from the scientists that were developing the project to begin with. They also had some past supplements, ancient war enhancement drugs from the Warring State period that shinobis took back then to boost themselves. It had negative side effects, but a lot of time has passed and new development has caused many great attributes in the terms of food, pills, and those things. But Danzo was going into the rich, deep history, the base development that would boost every single attribute. The boy's screaming died down as the chamber was open. He fell, but he was caught by one of the ninjas. Further study took place, and what they learned: his muscles rebuild rapidly. His reflexes exceed normal human limits. His body becomes a chakra conductive weapon. Bones and tendons are stronger than steel. His chakra coils expanded drastically, but they are also tightly regulated to avoid overload. It was a true work of art. Between the age of 4 and 6, the training began, blindfolded, in pitch black. As he could not see a thing, the words echoed through his mind: if you cannot fight blind, you don't deserve to see. He was taught anatomy through the live dissection of animals to begin with, and the more he grew, eventually through his enemy corpses, shuriken target through live hostages. Danzo will lecture him about sacrifice for the greater good. There were constant seal breaking, chakra disabling, and chakra suppression drills, learning to disappear even from the Byakugan itself. From age 7 to 9, fighting real root operatives every single day, not to win, but to survive. Yes, to survive. In that age period, Danzo sent Nruta out to assassinate rogue ninjas or prisoners from other village to desensitize him. As Danzo was taking a new method here, Nruta was very special when it comes to, well, manipulating his mind. It was difficult. But Danzo had a way of corrupting people even without those tactics. And Nruta was a prime subject of that. In that young age, Nruta was underground for days, holding seals, enduring genjutsu torture and physical strain for days. No eating, no drinking. He was forbidden to smile, punished if he showed any weakness. Yes, he was punished. He was shown the true horrors of this world, shown to be ruthless, shown to be very dangerous. He was the weapon. He was a super weapon for Konoha to crush all of his enemies, to destroy them. The older he got, the dangerous the training got. Meanwhile that was going on, Hiruzen and Sarutobi kept in touch. However, there was a lot to unpack, and when the Uchiha was wiped out, things became even more chaotic. It was then that something that they were speaking about in the past come to fruition. Many different villages were starting to go by this logic, but the moment Konoha went by it, a lot changed. The students would no longer be graduating at age 13, 15 to 16. The extra few years will be given to allow them to understand the strain of what it means to be a ninja, understand what it means to fight for your village. Many people were astonished. Itachi Uchiha was a young ninja. He started out early. They fear the mental strain was something that will affect the future generation. They had the time. They were not in a war right now, so they had the time to train their students properly. Some students were not happy about this. One in particular, Sasuke Uchiha, because he had to wait. But some wanted to be ninjas quickly to prove that they were something good to their parents. Some wanted for the hype, some wanted for different reasons. But they all had to wait the extra years. And throughout that time, Hiruzen accolade a lot of more helping towards the academy by having the Jonins deliver a bit of their help in terms of the students' growth. Identifying the special students, nurturing their gifts, ensuring that they were ready for the world. Yes, and just like that, many years passed by as everyone grew stronger. Within the shadow of all of this though, Nruta Uzumaki was becoming something else. Something far different from any of them combined. While the other Genins hadn't even started missions just yet, Nruta was going on B and A rank missions as something took place. Team 9, who had graduated last year, they sent word back to the village. Tenten was the one to send word. Guy had gave her his summon, a small turtle, before he was knocked unconscious. Guy risked his life to save his students, as they were able to take him down, not physically of course, but it was a toxin. And the only way for Guy to prevent his students from being crushed was to hold up a break-in support beam. But Tenten was the only one able to get through, as Lee and Neji stood back to clash with the others to stop them from hitting Guy and allowing the entire structure to break down. However, the special poison, courtesy of someone that was associated with Aoi Rokusho, a powerful man that stole a powerful scroll and a sword from Konoha. At the moment Guy and his team was captured, except for Tenten, Danzo Shimura arrived, as Hiruzen was planning on sending a team to help them. But Danzo arrived there. The perfect opportunity. Over the years, Hiruzen had really let go. Yes, the strain, the politics, everything. He's lost track of a lot. He hasn't seen Nruta in years. And Nruta was 16 years old right now, and he hasn't seen him in years. Hiruzen really took his eye off the ball. However, due to the efforts that Danzo had been putting in, the village was safer than ever. Outside forces had no idea what it was, but they were well aware that, despite Konoha weakness, they still possessed strength to crush the other nations. The report was fantastic in every single terms of the word, allowing Hiruzen to believe that he did the right job. Unfortunately though, when Danzo said the word that he could fix all of this and they wouldn't have to send the entire team, just one person, he appeared in the room. As he stepped, he was already in there. Hiruzen wondered if he was losing his touch. Has to be, he thought to himself. Years of nothing but paperwork, because he had no idea that Nruta was there. He stood there with a calm demeanor. Taller, stronger, dressed in a dark black and blue clothing. All of it matching together. Long sleeve, long pants. Even the boots seemed to be stitched in, but they were not. Black fingerless gloves with a brown trimming on it. On his back, there was a shield. A shield with dark blue stripes wrapping around it. Hiruzen knew exactly what that shield was. It was the material that it was made out of. It wasn't normal, not in any sense of the word. It was known as Gogen metal. Gogen metal was highly chakra reactive. The origins were, it came from deep within the Valley of the End. It was actually something that was formed from the Susanoo of Madara Uchiha and Senju Hoshirama Sage Mode chakra, clashing violently, superheating and infusing into ancient minerals that were in the earth. It was what produced the metal there. It was something that Konoha has been trying to utilize for the longest time now, but they were unsuccessful because there were some drawbacks for using this kind of metal. Also some benefit as well. The durability was unmatched, greater than any other steel. Even the adamantine staff that Hiruzen used, it was stronger than that. Blades made from this never dull, and shields made from this can take on the force of a literal tail beast bomb. The problem was the weight of the metal. It was extremely heavy, so that made it unable to be used in battle, as no shinobi could properly carry this around. It would be completely useless because they would be extremely slow, and that would cost them their life. But the metal was so wonderful, especially when boosted with chakra amplification. When wielded by someone that could actually boost it with their chakra amplification, it not only strengthened their defense even more, but it was completely useless when it comes to the weight. Even the blacksmith, they could not mold it. It took a mixture of using chakra forge seals, combination with fire, lightning, and wind chakra to forge the shield on Nruta's back. The density and force of it was simply that incredible. However, Nruta was no normal person. Hiruzen was pissed off when he heard about the experiment that Danzo put Nruta through. It got him thinking about Orochimaru, but the benefits far outweigh the negatives. In fact, there was no negative. Back then, Hiruzen was more focused on target. But now, things were different. As Nruta stood there, his blonde spiky hair, as he wasn't wearing a mask, his face was on full display. 2 bangs came down the side of his face. His crystal blue eyes looked so not empty, it was hard to describe. 3 marks on both of his cheeks. Hiruzen looked towards Danzo, not wanting to risk his shinobi's life. But Danzo put his reputation on this. He wanted to show him that, yes, everything that he's done had paid off. But the moment Nruta left with the information, Hiruzen started to feel guilt. Yes, he started to feel guilt. He started to feel angry with himself. Meanwhile, Guy and the others were bound and captured. Guy was still weakened due to the toxin that was affecting him. However, his attitude never dulled, as he told him to have faith. Lee was boosted by his master's confidence. When Aoi Rokusho stepped inside, Neji watching the man very carefully. "Don't worry," he said. "I'm not gonna kill you guys. Yet. I might still need you. After all, we have some rather special members here. Well, except for you," he said, looking at Lee, as he smirked towards them. "And don't you worry. We will find that third teammate of yours. And she will be brought here. Let's pray that she doesn't try to fight back too bad. Or else." Guy was dead serious, as his gaze focused on Aoi. The threat was very clear that the moment he's freed from this place, he would be done. Tenten was on the run, trying to get as far away from the island without actually leaving it, as she did not want to leave her team behind, and when backup came here, she had to report in. But she wasn't stupid enough to believe that she could take on all these guys by herself. Unfortunately, though, their numbers outweigh her, and with her resilience not to leave. After, sometimes she was finally captured. Surrounded as she was, she found herself surrounded by 4 people. They weren't even trying to fight, as they smirked, cocky as they did, believing that if she fought back she would die, that she stood absolutely no chance against them. They were right. Her weapons were limited. She used up most of them in the earlier battles. She watched them, trying to think of a way out of this, when suddenly, one of their heads exploded. Tenten has been a ninja for a few months now, but this caught her off guard. Something ruptured through one of their heads. The other 3 were shocked when someone stepped into a guy's chest, literally crushing it. Immediately they launched kunais and shuriken. The other 2 launched them towards the perpetrator, but he flipped with a shield that was now back in his hand, as he blocked them rather easily. He then threw the shield down towards the kunoichi. She flipped over it, but the moment she landed, he grabbed her face, and his shield was pulled back towards him as he smashed her head right into it. She was done. The other man being right beside him now whipped out a small tonto and swing it. He weaved under his arm and broke the joint. He then flipped around and snapped his neck, the body dropping down to the ground rather easily. Tenten was astonished, frightened by what she was looking at, her gaze unable to believe as she looked up towards this person. His face was covered. The only things that she could see were his eyes. Even that seemed a bit hollow, if she wasn't mistaken. She took a step back. "I was sent from Konoha," he said. His voice was so calm, so relaxing, almost like a melody. "I'm here to provide backup for your team." Tenten was about to argue that he was the only one who was sent, where were the others, but as she looked around at the 4 ninjas that he took out within seconds, she decided to keep her mouth shut. "Could you provide me with the information about where your team is? The exact previous location if you don't have the current location." Yeah, she said, snapping out of her gaze. She led him towards the location, still shocked by what she just witnessed. But she told herself that this was all a part of being a ninja. Yes, it was. Arriving towards the location, Tenten wanted to go, but he stopped her. as she wanted to go there to save her sensei as well. "It will be better if I finish this alone," he said. "You will only slow me down. My mission is to bring you three back, and this will be risking your life. So stay outside," he said. She tried to argue so. He gave her a simple task. If she was able to hold his shield, he will agree. Tenten eyed the special shield. She saw him through it easily. Something must be wrong with it though, because the task was too easy. But she believed that he was simply underestimating her strength. She was ready for it. Tenten was shocked, as the shield was embedded in the ground. She tried to budge it, but it was barely moving. She looked up at him as he used one arm to lift it up. That's impossible." What are you?" she said. "Stay here," he said. Moments later, Nruta closed his eyes as he mapped out the base. Finally, having the desired map that he wanted, Nruta ran. Three ninjas walking down the hall. They saw him, but they and Nruta exploded through the wall. They were not in one piece anymore. My guy and the others were currently locked away when explosions started to ring all over the place. As Aoi rushed into the room, "Who else is here?" he said, demanding answers when suddenly he jumped out of the way. Something ruptured through the wall and almost took his head off. Explosions still rang through the entire base. Aoi rushed as he pulled out his blade, the sword of the thunder god created by the second Hokage. Infusing it with his chakra, it illuminated the place even more. He pointed forward, ready to fight, as Nruta stepped in. Guy had no idea who this is, neither did the other two. Nruta looked at them. He threw the shield as it broke the chains that were binding their hands. Aoi realized that this person was a threat, dashed towards him and swing. But the shield came back as Nruta caught it with his right hand and knocked the blade upwards, shocking Aoi. The blade was supposed to be able to cut through anything. Nruta then slammed the shield in his face, the force sending him through the wall. Aoi Rokusho, a dangerous man with that weapon, was on the ground bleeding and in pain. He picked himself up, 3 teeth falling out of his mouth. You'll pay for that," he said, slurring his words. He had bit down so hard on his tongue. As his mouth was leaking, he rushed towards Naruto, trying to take his head off or his legs, given the shield was something that the blade could not go through. Unfortunately for him though, the high tension chakra wire that was on Nruta's fingertip that was already embedded in the wall, the moment he threw the shield, was already around his neck. Nruta turned his back to Aoi Rokusho. As he gazed towards the others, despite the man being behind him, Lee shouted out. Guy noticed something was off. There was no fear. Aoi Rokusho was already dead. Neji was shocked as he saw Aoi's head fell off. All of them were. As Neji saw the small wire, small, barely noticeable, super conductive though. As he questioned about their health, if any of them need medical attention, the poison wasn't a deadly one only able to weaken Guy. As Nruta helped the man out, arriving outside, they found Tenten. She rushed towards them. But there was one question on their mind though. Who in the world was this? Returning back to the village, they were all safe. Hiruzen was astonished. However, as the team gave a mission report as Tenten told what she saw, A bit traumatized, but Hiruzen was, realizing his grand mistake that he made. Perhaps it was time for Nruta to step back into the light. After all, it is not often that one stay in the dark for so long. Perhaps it is time for the populace to be reintroduced to him and for him to be reintroduced to them. Hiruzen expected Danzo to be against this, upset, but to his surprise, Danzo believed that his words were correct. Hiruzen was taken aback, completely flabbergasted by that, as he wasn't expecting that in the slightest. He was straight up confused. Danzo believed that Nruta would be a great leader someday. Hiruzen did not trust his words though, but he wanted to reintroduce Nruta back to society, and things went so smoothly. Unlike Hiruzen other operatives, Nruta had emotions, yes. He had actual emotions. He wasn't a mindless person that simply followed orders. His emotions are simply extremely suppressed. At the moment Nruta gazed into the mirror that was in the bathroom of his new place, he could tell that someone was there. He turned as someone stood behind him. His name was Sai, third member of Team 7 along with Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. "I have the details for you right here," said Sai, as he handed Nruta a folder. Nruta took it as he examined it. With a simple nod, as Sai took it back and made his way off. Time skip. Another mission turning into something more deadly. As Team 7, Sakura, Sai, Sasuke, and Kakashi Hatake, their leader, found themselves in a bit of a trouble. Team 7 was really getting along. Kakashi believed that taking them outside might help them. Once again, to show that Nruta was ready for the outside world, to show that he could be a great assistant and bond with his generation, he was sent to help the team out. Arriving towards the land of Wave, in the midst of chaos, Sasuke, Uchiha, and Sai was stuck inside of an icy prison, as they found themselves facing off against none other than Haku. Sakura was watching the client. Nruta didn't attack though, he simply stood there. Nruta was a complicated person. He had emotions, but they were restrained. He felt anger, he felt sadness, he felt pain, he felt everything. But they are locked behind a wall of, discipline. He was a tactician. He rarely speaks, analyzing everything. Every move is meditated, everything is precise. Nruta was loyal to his mission. He wasn't loyal to Konoha. He respected his orders. His mindset was a complicated one, as Nruta doesn't really love the village. His loyalty was to his purpose, not to people. Nruta's determination was more than 100%. He doesn't get visibly exciting or emotional in a battle. He wasn't a flashy person. He doesn't fight to impress. He fights to eliminate. Nruta was observing Sasuke Uchiha, as he saw the boy as what he truly was. A threat. A future one at least. His mind was broken from, torture by his elder brother. Nruta had seen things in this world and he knew that Sasuke Uchiha did not receive the proper discipline to overcome what he went through. So there were triggers there. Eventually, he shall break. And that is where Nruta steps in. That is when it happened, as he vanished away. The next moment, Sasuke was surprised that he was okay, as someone stood in front of him. Sai, on the other hand, lay on the ground, unmoving. "Who are you?" Haku questioned, seeing that his mirror was broken. Bam! The shield shattered the ice mirror, surprising Haku. Suddenly, copies of Nruta emerged. enough to fill the entire spot of mirrors. All of them finish in 3-hand sequence. With that, every single mirror shattered. The power that he released, forcing Haku to land on the bridge. Haku ducked, dodging the shield. He crossed his arm, but the fist launched him through the railing. He cried in pain as his back had ripped through metal that was normal. Slamming into his chest, Haku crashed into the ocean. He started to sink. He was desperate, in pain, barely able to breathe due to his agony that he was feeling in his chest right now. Normal people jumping into your chest was hard, but Nruta blows weren't easy. Haku saw the arm that offered him relief, that offered him aid. In the stressful moment, he didn't think, he just took it. But that was a tactic. That was the way the human mind worked. Despite the danger in moments of high stress, they reach out for the nearest source, the nearest help. The moment Haku was pulled above the surface, he felt the cold steel placed across his neck from the right to the left. Haku was stunned as he gazed into the eyes that looked down upon him as he sunk into the water, bleeding out and dying. Nruta flipped back up to the bridge. Landing, Sasuke Uchiha was on his feet. "Who the hell are you?" he said. "I was sent from Konoha. There is no need to be afraid." "I'm not afraid," Sasuke said. Nruta tilted his head, looking at the Uchiha. He just watched him. Sasuke started to feel rather unnerving. As Nruta turned and made his way off, Kakashi was clashing against Zabuza. The mist was thick. Both men met in the center. When Zabuza saw something, Zabuza dropped as he saw the strange shield rip through the metal over the side. Imagine what that would have done to his. He brought the blade up. Zabuza could feel the pressure in his hand as he blocked the kick, only for Nruta to land on both of his hands and deliver 3 more kicks, causing Zabuza to step back. Kakashi saw his opportunity and sliced the tendons in his legs. He fell back, and that was it. As Nruta's shield was in his hand, he slammed it through Zabuza's neck, taking his head off with one swing. Cutting the tendons caused him to fall backward slightly. And in that second, there was no hesitation, no delay, just death. Nruta ended him, just like that. Kakashi Hatake had no idea who this was. He stood there watching the person very carefully. "Who are you?" he said. "Konoha." That was all that Nruta said, as his gaze was on the horizon when he noticed the army emerge. The others arriving. Sakura though. Sakura looked remorseful. Sasuke looked shocked. There was a reason for that. It was Sai. Sai wasn't waking up. He was. Unfortunately though, they didn't have time for that, as Gato and his men arrived on the bridge. And they weren't alone. Iniri and Tsunami were currently bound and unconscious, as they were kidnapped and taken around the long way to ensure that no one could stop them. Tazuna was ready to give up immediately, not wanting to risk his family. He wanted to hand himself over, but Kakashi knew that he would be killed the moment it happened, and there was a good chance that his family would be killed as well. That is when smoke, a whole lot of smoke, started to rise from under the bridge, blanketing the entire place. And everyone heard it. Tazuna tried to rush forward, but Kakashi grabbed him. It was a massacre. By the time the smoke cleared away, stepping out of the remains was Nruta, as he held the child and woman, casually walking over to the group. A purpose for each of his action. When Kakashi gazed behind him, he saw it. All of them. They were all dead. Time skip. Returning back to the village, learning that Nruta was not just any child, Kakashi was stunned. He wasn't given any information about him. He believed that the boy had died. But no, he was alive. Kakashi couldn't believe it. What did they turn him into? He was loyal to the village, yes, but that was no normal child. Being someone that was close to the fourth Hokage, Hiruzen told him who Nruta was. Sai did not make it. It was Haku. He strikes Sai in the heart with his needle, as Nruta could only save one. Sai was gone. At the moment, Sai lay on the table, his body looking cold and dead, when Nruta arrived, placing 2 fingers at his chest and one near to his chin. There was a jolt. As Sai opened his eyes, his color returning. Sai wasn't dead. Sasuke was simply too slow to see what happened. This was all for a purpose, all for a reason. Sai got up, a bit wobbly on his feet. So now you take my path, Sai said to him. Nruta simply looked at Sai. Not much of a talker, are you? Sai said. It was rather ironic for Sai to say something like that. But Sai knew Naruto. He knew what kind of person he was. And Sai was nothing compared to Naruto. Nothing at all. Time skip. The new member. Sakura believed that it was a bit quick. Right after Sai's death, Hiruzen had a report done on Sai to make sure that Danzo did not order Nruta to kill him to take his spot. Hiruzen had no idea who Sai really was. Sai was just an average kid in the academy. Everything was there, his records, his parents, everything. They cried when they heard about their son's death. Everything was there. However, the autopsy was just as everything was. It was a senbon that was placed in his heart. The puncture wounds were there. Sai was killed by the ninja on the bridge. So Nruta formally joined Team 7. And it was strange, yes. It was strange. As he now had 2 teammates. He had people that he led before, and people that he listened to, but this was different. Within the light, out of the shadows, Nruto watched them, he observed them. Kakashi was concerned about this Nruto. He doesn't even blink unless he needs to. He listened to order without hesitation. He was brutal, cold, efficient, the stimulus of a weapon and nothing more. And his strength, his speed, his reflex, everything about him was enhanced beyond the normal human concept. Due to their first rough mission, Team 7 was taking on much more smaller missions now. As Nruta is publicly integrated, so the villagers can start to accept him. As for the others, Sasuke was immediately hostile. He noticed that Sai basically had no emotions, that he was just empty. I don't need another emotionless freak on this team, he said. However, Nruto was nothing like Sai. The atmosphere was heavy. The demeanor was dangerous. He was not fake. He was the real deal. Sasuke was the first to avert his gaze, as Nruta's stare was unnerving. Sakura was confused, intimidated as she tried to be polite. However, Nruta ignored her social cues. He did not even look at her unless he had to. And yet, he jumped in the way to save her life, like it was nothing. Kakashi, he tried to understand the situation, but Nruta does not react to him as he wanted to. For some reason, he believed that Nruta was testing him, testing to see how far he would go. Perhaps he was being paranoid, but it was just a way that Nruta acted the way he behaved. Sakura tried to joke with him. However, he doesn't know how to respond. As Team 7 started to affect Naruto more than he thought. Never introduced to this stimulus, they weren't affecting him in a way that could change him, but they were simply allowing him to see things that he never really saw before. Kakashi showed his kindness in different little ways, passing him a scroll, covering for him, not asking that much question. They look at me like I'm a person. That's dangerous, Nruta thought to himself. As Nruta started to question a lot, emotions made you weak after all. Friendships were a liability. Love was a trap. Nruta was not questioning himself. He wasn't questioning himself. He was questioning teachings that he received. Because unlike the others that basically had no mind for themselves, Nruta did possess a mind. It was that night that Nruta stepped into his mindscape. As we saw the nine-tailed fox, but the seal was different. The nine tails was stringed up, bound and restricted by chains, due to the seals that were placed over the already existing seal. The beast was pissed. It despised Naruto, as Nruta has used its power in the past before. Tess, giving it away to Danzo. So yes, the beast hated him. It wanted to rip him apart. Nruta simply looked at the fox. Its unwillingness to do anything else but kill him once it is free. Its desire that would never come true because he held it captive, he bound it together. Danzo taught him so many things. Things that allow Nruta to adapt in situations, but there were certain cues that Nruta still simply didn't really understand that well. While he's been around many different kind of people, holding the conversation in terms of emotional cues with his peers was not something that he could actively keep going for long. And Sakura was pushing it. Sasuke started to try to understand Naruto. Sasuke grew obsessed with Naruta's strength. Each time they fought, not once did he overcome Naruto. Nruta dropped him every single time. It was as if he stood no chance. Just like that time went by, as Team 7 found themselves face to face with a very powerful Kunoichi. But she wasn't just any Kunoichi though. Behind that face was a different kind of monster. Get out of here, said Naruto. That thing is not what it truly is. What are you talking about, Sasuke said. That's a disguise, an illusion. I can feel the power underneath the surface. Step back. Nruta threw his shield. Orochimaru tried to deflect it, but his sword broke. A normal sword that he emerged, but it snapped. Luckily, he pulled his head down just in time as it split through the tree, showing the amount of force that Nruta swung the shield with. Nruta dashed at the Sannin, and they trade blows. The shield pulling back towards him, Nruta crushed Orochimaru's face, but he turned into a mud clone. The Sannin tried to get by Nruta, but the level of strength and speed that he was using was nothing. Every single second, Orochimaru felt his life in danger. The instinct, the bloodlust, it was pure death. Nothing else, no other desire. There was only one reason, one purpose, and that was to kill him. The Sannin was shocked. He hadn't seen this kind of training in a long time. Nowadays, ninjas, well, mostly Konoha trained to a more calmer path, but this training was an old days training. Training that turned shinobis at a young age into monsters. Training that made adults that were trained this hard, who did survive, unable to function properly because they weren't human anymore, as they were trained to be something else, something demonic, something sickening. There was only one person that could do this. Orochimaru could smell Danzo on this boy. He could smell him very well. Orochimaru decided to test to see how truly strong this boy was as he drove his fist in Nruta's face. However, Nruta's hands were at his side. The Sannin was confused until he felt it. Orochimaru dropped down to one knee. What the hell is this? He said, confused, as Nruta looked down towards him. Looking closer on Nruta's hand, they were tiny chakra scalpels that he placed on in the midst of the battle. Yes, these scalpels were not normal. Nruta was using the Nine-Tails chakra, as he used the scalpels to inject them into the system of the Sannin in tiny bursts, using the pain of his blows to cover it up. Orochimaru noticed the minor fractions on his skin. They were so precise, so ingrained that he barely noticed them until now, as they started to affect his insides, as Nruta targeted precise organs and veins, messing up Orochimaru's chakra system. Now that the Sannin was on his knees bowing down to him, the lethal chakra wires escaped from Nruta's sleeve, his fingers wrapping around them, sending his chakra through them. Nruta wrapped Orochimaru in it and ripped him apart. As he turned his back, he took 2 steps. He leaned. The Kusanagi blade passed by Nruta's face. A fresh Orochimaru erupted from his corpse. Their eyes locked as Nruta crushed his face with a shield, launching him to the trees. The Sannin smashed through several. Nruta looked down at his destroyed corpse. Disgusting, he said. He sped off into the foliage, chasing after Orochimaru, beating his throne by increasing his speed. Once again they traded blows. This time, the Sannin released more of his power. His techniques, his attacks were more deadly and swift, trying to test the capability of this thing in front of him. Ironic him calling someone a thing. Nruta flipped away from him. Pulling his hand, Orochimaru jumped away, only to lose an arm as every tree in the vicinity was sliced apart. The Sannin pulled the Kusanagi and clashed with Nruta wires. He jumped over and blocked Nruta's blade, the both of them knocking away from each other. No flashy jutsus, nothing to show off, just pure death. Nruta descended upon him and split the ground, aiming to cut his head clean open. Nruta threw his shield as it bounced off the trees. Orochimaru flipped over it as Nruta stepped on it, jumping upwards and smashing his chin inwards, launching the Sannin through the foliage. Orochimaru was astonished to believe someone so young has so much skill and so much strength to keep up with him at this level. The Sannin chakra started to be released. The area, the atmosphere started to change. In the beginning, it was a joke to beat Nruta down, but now his pride was on the line. And if there was something that he was known for, it was being prideful. It didn't show much often because he believed that he was better than most people, but now, having someone so young stand up to him, actually keeping up with him, Orochimaru's pride could not stand it. Its original mission at the back of his mind. He sped towards Nruta, clearing the distance in a matter of seconds. His fist raised. However, Nruta blocked it. The Sannin found himself unable to pierce the shield. He shot his Kusanagi and extended the blade. Nruta was crashing through the foliage, but the shield did not pierce one bit. He soon started to realize what kind of metal that really was. However, the following words triggered Orochimaru in ways that, well, pure rage. For a Sannin, you're weaker than I thought. The reason why this was so triggering through the entire battle, Nruta did not really spoke. Each gaze looking down at Orochimaru and his words. The Sannin fist Nruta in the face, sending him crashing through the foliage. Rage overtook the Sannin. Humiliated by a child, a brat, he wouldn't stand for it as he sped towards Nruta, but he froze. Orochimaru was confused. Nruta got to his feet. Pride, emotions. They truly make one pathetic, don't they? Said Nruto. Why can't I move? The Sannin cursed as he glared at Nruto. Nruto's eyes roamed towards the gravity seals on the branches. Nruta had been setting them perfectly. He never stepped into a plan without another plan or at least 5 more on his mind. Orochimaru had 5 gravity seals on his body. He did not even notice. Each seal was pulling and attracting the force to the other, which means that each part of Orochimaru's body was being pulled in the opposite direction, and it was the same force, giving a perfect balance as they were cancelling each other out, suspending him in mid-air. Nruta stepped towards the Sannin. He started to go through hand signs. This was no normal jutsu. His fingertips started to glow with chakra. Orochimaru, for the first time in a long while, he was afraid. Yes, he was, as he tried to time it perfectly, knowing that the seals around him might attract to his new form the moment he shed his skin. So he had to move perfectly as he waited for Nruta to step closer. And then he struck as he leaped out of his mouth. However, what Orochimaru was not expecting was the barrier to erupt in front of him. As the gravity seals, they immediately released the force by Nruta's finger, cancelling it out, and start to attract everything that was in the close vicinity, surrounding Orochimaru. And now that they were no longer attached to him, they were trying to rip him apart, because the force was no longer perfectly cancelled. However, Nruta fused the barrier inside of Orochimaru's skull. This wasn't any normal barrier. The first layer of the technique was something to bind his targets. The other layer was simple. Nruta cancelled the gravity seal as Orochimaru collapsed. Nruta then raised his shield and struck it in Orochimaru's temple, knocking him down to the ground. The Sannin started to bleed from the head as he tried to get to his feet, but he started to cough up blood. Orochimaru's body was special. Not as special as Nruta at the moment, but his body was special, able to fight off toxin, able to fight off poisons, but the seal that Nruta used was no normal seal. The 10 step dead finger seal. 10 fingers placed down on his target, sending the wave of corruption, the cursed energy, through the user's body, causing malnourish, causing breakdowns, causing spasm. The only way to truly overcome this was simply not to allow Nruta to place his 10 fingers on you. After going through the hand sign and building up the required amount of chakra. Then again, the way Nruta did this was not just a few seconds right there. Nruta was perfectly aligning the cursed energy the entire battle. So yes, he needed time, but this was capable of killing anyone. A forbidden technique. There was a reason why. The amount of chakra required to use something like this would kill a Jonin. And not to mention, your chakra had to be precisely controlled, otherwise the flow would reverse. And if it reversed back to the user would die. No question there. 10 seconds after the seal is applied, you will die, allowing a person possible deniability if they were caught up in a situation. However, Orochimaru proved once again that he was not a normal person. Then again, Nruta wasn't trying to kill him, as he had more than enough time. Instead of striking the Sannin, Nruta could have split him into little pieces, but no. He left him be, simply observing. Orochimaru shed his skin, but once again, well, this time it wasn't the same way. The amount of chakra used to survive fatal deaths was alarmingly high. The Sannin buried himself underground. When he emerged a distance away, he was weakened, extremely so tired, groggy. The Sani looked towards his arms and legs as he saw the seal was powerful enough to affect him even after he shed his skin. It wasn't going to kill him, but the seal was destroying his insides. Now it was simply causing him pure agony as he moved. Orochimaru fled off into the bushes, quickly making his way. Time skip. Receiving a scroll was really easy. However, something happened in the Forest of Death when the examiners made their way inside. After finding out about Orochimaru as well, 90% of the ninjas that went inside were no longer with us. And they weren't defeated by the forest. They weren't unconscious. They were dead. Majority of them were dead. It's been the first that the exam was so brutal, deadly. 90% of them did not make it back. Just a small group, mostly consisting of Konoha ninjas, made it back. The sound team was slaughtered. The rain ninjas were slaughtered. The grass ninjas were slaughtered. The only ones that made it was the Konoha ninjas and the sand team that made it there first. Nruta was missing for over an hour from his team after fighting Orochimaru. They thought that they were going to run out of time. They thought that Orochimaru did something horrible to him, but he was alive. He was okay. The amount of power that Sasuke felt from that ninja, and yet Nruta came back unscathed mostly. He needed to understand, how was he so powerful? Sasuke's obsession with strength. He started to try to understand Nruta's strength, because he needed to become that powerful if he was going to achieve his desires. If he was going to achieve his dreams, he needed to become that powerful. Seeing Nruta's power was alluring, intensively so, because he needed it. Time skip. Everyone was gathered to see the preliminaries. As Naruto, Kiba was his opponent. Hey, who is that? Ino questioned, having no idea who that truly is. She saw him with them earlier when they were going through the first phase, but no one talked about him. His name is Nruta. He's our new teammate. They hadn't had a lot of time to catch up recently, due to the both of them being on missions. No one truly knew what to expect, but there was something about him, something abnormal. The moment the match began, Kiba was on the ground. It happened so fast. Nruta grabbed Kiba's fist and hit Kiba 3 times in the chest. 3 special areas, his entire body seized up, and he was out like a light. Time skip. The finals. The grand finals where everyone was going to arrive. They had 1 month to train and get better. Neji Hyuga was Nruta's opponent, the prodigy of the Hyuga clan. Nruta was currently walking at the moment, fully aware that he was being watched. Jiraiya was upset with Hiruzen. Everything that Hiruzen knew, he allowed Danzo to take control of Nruta's training. Jiraiya did not like that one bit. However, Hiruzen was rather vocal about the matter that he wasn't here. Yes, he was in control of the spy network, but there was still so much to be done here, and Jiraiya, for the past couple of years, he hasn't visited once. And through his letters, they did not speak about Naruto. Because Jiraiya was ashamed of everything and how he left things. And he wanted to simply put it behind him because he could not handle the emotions, but now he had objective views on the matter. Well, Hiruzen did what he thought was necessary, and now they were making Konoha strong. Jiraiya started to doubt if he was in control anymore, allowing certain things to simply go over his head. And why? Why would Danzo so easily release Naruto? That seemed rather strange. However, there was no evidence showing anything, but the Hokage was just trying his best. Nruta refused training. Kakashi offered to aid him, but he told him that he would be fine. It was best if he trained the Uchiha. He needed more than him. Sasuke would have objected, but Their latest battles show that Nruta really did not need it. The Sannin did not know how to approach him, but Nruta decided to make it much easier. I know you're there. Jiraiya emerged after a few seconds. Huh. Thought I wouldn't be spotted, he said. You're better than I thought. Jiraiya. The Sannin, said Naruto. I wasn't expecting to see you today. How may I help you, Nruta said. Everything about him was just so by the book. So regal, so out of touch with emotions. Jiraiya said to himself as he looked at the boy. You know, you've piqued my interest, he said. I have been looking for a new pupil. And there's something about you, he said. How about it? Would you like to become my number 2? Job is pretty hard after all. You'd have to keep up with someone like me. I would like that, said Naruto. His gaze flat as usual. You would, said Jiraiya. Of course. You are a renowned Sannin, one of the most powerful members in the village. How could I decline? The Sannin chuckled, having his ego stroke. But Jiraiya was fully in control of his emotions as he watched Naruto. This boy was good. However, his actions seemed to be normal. Just what exactly was going on, Jiraiya thought. Time skip. Jiraiya learned that Nruta was stronger than him, physically, greatly so, and that shield of his, along with it, he was like a literal walking tank. Time skip. Everyone was shocked. The so-called prodigy was bested easily. Yes, you heard that right. Easily. Even Neji could not understand it. I suppose you can say someone have a determined future. But is it not in the human biology to break the design of fate? Those were the only words that Nruta said to Neji, and they had such a huge impact on him it was crazy. Chaos ruled in the village right after Sasuke's match. Nruta, on the other hand, he ventured outwards. A large group of sound ninjas went after the future generation to ensure that Konoha would fall. No other ninja was there until Nruta arrived. Single-handedly, he took on 50 sound ninjas who came to take out the entire academy years and majority of the civilians. Nruta ripped them apart, smashing through them. A building exploded as a massive chunk started to fall on a bunch of people. Naruto arrived and saved each and every one of them. Chaos ruled within the heart of the village as the ninjas were able to get past and made their way deep within the sections of the village. But Nruta Uzumaki, the young man with his shield, stood protectively, protecting them all. As the people saw the shield with a new insignia, the Konoha sign on it, they knew that they were going to be safe. Deep within the forest where Sasuke Uchiha was unable to truly keep up with the monster that was Gaara, and where the others arrived, Kiba, he tried to stop him but he was no match. Sai arrived but he was wearing a mask. His job was to stop the Uchiha's death. He was needed for the future population. Unfortunately though, Gaara was going berserk. And after Sai injured him once again, he lost it. Everyone was afraid. The girl that Nruta just saved, she saw the monster in the distance. She was afraid as Nruta turned towards her. There is nothing to be afraid of. I'll protect every one of you, he said. His words immediately erased the fear after what they just saw. Nruta raced through the village, making his way. When he finally arrived, Nruta threw his shield. However, this time the attack from simply throwing his shield tear Shikaku's arm clean off. It was like a monster facing an unstoppable force. Nruta ran through the sand, knocking through it, blowing through it. The shield was enhanced by his special chakra. Nruta's eyes turned briefly red. He burst a hole clean through Shikaku. As the civilians were being brought to safety, they started to speak. They watched as the monster was brought down. Gaara, he was a problem. Nruta blitzed towards him, knocking away the sand. It grabbed him, but Nruta flexed and exploded out of it. Flipping in the air, Nruta brought his shield down and the sand exploded outwards. A clear distance Nruta ran and crashed into Gaara, launching him away. Flying through the foliage and crashing down, Gaara was separated. Shikaku's essence returned back to the seal. As Gaara tried to raise up, Nruta dropped the shield into his skull, knocking him out, and proceeded to place a seal over Gaara's current seal. A puppet burst out of the ground. Nruta dodged. A massive wind attack slammed into him. However, Nruta stood his ground, his shield protecting him. Blitzing towards the both of them, Nruta dropped Temari and Kankuro. They stood absolutely no chance. Nruta stood there as he created 3 clones that picked them up. Sai landed on the foliage, looking at Nruta as Sai made the clones follow him. Nruta raced back towards the heart of the village. He made his way. As the repelling forces came in, the sound ninjas started to run away, the sand run in the opposite direction. The sound ninjas saw him and they started to launch their weapons. Chaos ensued as Nruta ran into the army, taking on every single one of them, crushing skulls, stepping on throats, punching through people's chests. He was a monster, his strength dwarfing every single one of them. By the time he was done, bodies littered the area, stomping out a good portion of them. And he still had enough energy to raise back to his feet. Looking around as everyone was shocked, even the shinobis were shocked. They had yet to hear what he had done, but this alone was truly shocking as he stood there, with his shield as a protector. He turned and sent an enemy shinobi flying through the village. With a hit of his shield, as he stood tall, the protector, a leader. Time skip. Hiruzen Sarutobi fell in battle. Yes, he didn't make it. Orochimaru was able to take Hiruzen. As Hiruzen took him down, well, he tried to, but in the end he took his arms. Now the question, they needed a Hokage. They needed one, quickly. After all, Konoha has faced so much tragedy, people will start to believe that their forces indeed are drastically weakened even more than before. The Uchiha massacre, and now this. Then again, no outside forces has tried to make a move. The topper level of the village had no idea why though. Well, they believed that Konoha's strength was simply that great that others realized making a move was a very stupid idea. And that is where Danzo came in. Yes, he did. He came in perfectly. A smile on his face. Danzo had a brilliant idea. The new Hokage should be Nruta Uzumaki. Confusion rang through the entire place. Isn't he a bit too young? That is when Danzo revealed who the boy truly was. They thought he was dead, but no, here he was alive. Naruto. His last name did not speak well known, but his first name did. To begin with, most people had no idea who he was in the beginning. After all, Hiruzen thought that it was better to keep his identity a secret. So no one knew who he was. Majority of them believed that the nine-tailed fox had died with the hosts. And there were certain things that the Hokage did not tell even the council. Shock. Yes. However, the village started to find out who Nruto was as well. How said information spread so quickly? Beyond them it was. Danzo. He didn't do any of this, he told them. They were the only people that he told about this. And Nruta wasn't one to speak about this. Despite his age, he's been bred and trained for his entire life to lead. When the news started to go around of who was his father, many start to agree. So what if he's young? That's good. He will gain more experience the more he goes on. Not to mention the elders will be there. And all the people that helped the third when he was young, people like those people will be there to help him. Many spoke in the crowd, many spoke amongst themselves and started to spread it. However, some were saying that this was bad. Some were against this, which caused conflicts. The ones that were saved, the ones that saw true heroism, they spoke up in his defense. The populace had no idea that this was simply a pattern that they were playing in. Those that were pushing the argument were the ones that Nruta did save, but those that were against it was Danzo's people, root agents without their disguise. Conflict always brings people together in the end. Those explosions, those buildings that fell down, it was Danzo. It was Danzo allowing the people to go farther into the village. It was Danzo showing them little patterns to allow them to make a move against the future generation. It was all Danzo to make Nruta be seen as a hero. Aware that many would be against him, but the son of the fourth Hokage, well, he should be next in line. And he had all the advisors and everyone to help him. He was a true hero, bred for this, willing to serve and protect, to give his life. And thus the population erupted. He should be Hokage. Many started to cheer. He's not a normal genin, he was never bracketed with them. He was specially trained by the Hokage himself and the Hokage advisors. Letters from Hiruzen as he spoke about Nruta's growth started to be revealed. Word was sent to the daimyo about the rather conflicting situation. He was shocked. The fourth Hokage progeny. He had a son? The man couldn't believe it. He came to the village not too long after to meet Nruta. Respectable Nruta was, greeting the man. And he saw it. He saw the fire inside of him. And something else. He was holding back the 9 tails. Yes, people were shocked to hear that. His father had so much trust in him, and they should have the same. It's been 16 years and yet we're still safe. He even protects us from another tail beast. He's the real deal. He's a hero. They cheered for him. The daimyo was agreeing with Danzo's statement. Perhaps he's a bit too young, but Konoha always did the unusual method even with Hiruzen in the past. And Hiruzen lived a long life as a Hokage. Could this be the path that they go down? Could this be the next move that they make? Cementing this boy as a new Hokage. As opinions change and rage, Nruta was alone when suddenly Sai appeared behind him. As stated before, Sai knew Nruta. Yes, he knew Nruta rather well. Sai handed over a scroll to Nruta. Nruta opened said scroll. Is that all of them? Yes, Sai said. They've all seen the way. Danzo was unaware that, while he was grooming Nruta for the position, Nruta started his plan a long time ago. Sai then did something rather surprising as he took a knee. We are at your service, Lord Nruta, he said. There was much more going on that Danzo had no idea about, and he was going to elect Nruta to be the Hokage. But if you want to find out more, guys, that will be in part 2. This is part 1 of this movie. I'll be splitting this into 2 parts, so if you want to see more, just go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button. Part 2 will be out soon, guys. This is gonna be a 2-part movie. The next one will be at least 2 hours plus, so yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll be posting part 2 as soon as possible. I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.